Okay, students, now let us continue. So, we have to start with the last topic. This is non-living substances or cell inclusions. Apart from these living cell organelles present inside the cells, you will also observe that there are certain non-living substances. These organelles, we call them living, but the non-living substances can be some stored granules present in cytoplasm, which may have stored the food in the form of starch or glycogen or some fats, or the vacuoles present inside the cell. Like this is usually in plant cells we observe a central large vacuole, and that is the reason that nucleus is pushed towards the periphery, towards the side. In case of animal cells, there may be small vacuoles present here and there, maybe fewer and lesser in smaller in size. So, when we talk about non-living substances, we say cell inclusions. We generally talk about two things. One is granules. So, these may be small particles of cytoplasm in the cytoplasm, such as of food materials like starch, glycogen, and fats. And vacuoles. Vacuoles are the space which is having a membrane. We call it tonoplast. And in case of plants, it may have stored some liquid. The liquid stored in the vacuole is called cell sap. Vacuoles are actually of many types. They may have stored gases, they may store water, they may store some other substances. Means they may be filled of water, may be filled of some other sap. Together we can say cell sap. That means many other substances other than water, mixed with water. So, if you study from here, they have explained vacuoles. See, the clear space with water or other substances in solution. Plant cell have large vacuole, and vacuole is covered by a covering. We call it tonoplast. Right? Now, the last cell, very important cell organelle is nucleus. Now, the first question is why the nucleus is called most important part of the cell. It is because of these three things. Firstly, it regulates and coordinates various life processes of the cells. Secondly, it plays an important part in cell division. As you know that when we grow and we develop, growth means we are adding on the cells, and those cells are being added because the cells are one cell divides into two, two into four, four into eight, like that. This is a continuous process. So whenever cells are dividing, the genetic material inside it, which is inside nucleus, it is actually getting distributed in the next cells. So we can say it is an important part in cell division. And the most important thing is that it contains the hereditary information. Whatever information is present in human beings, in the cells of the human beings, will be passed on to the next cells, and that is why the offsprings of human beings will always be like human beings. Offspring, for example, a mango seed. That mango seed contains the genetic information in the cells, in the nucleus of the cells. And when the cells will divide and grow, and slowly that seed will form a sapling, then a plant. So same information is going. That means a seed of mango will form a mango plant. It cannot be a guava plant or some other plant. Okay. This is all because of the genetic information which is present inside the nucleus. Now we will study the structure of nucleus. Nucleus is a dark stained body in the cell, and its membrane, it is also having double membrane, outer and inner. This membrane is called nuclear membrane. Like a cell has cell membrane, nucleus has nuclear membrane. And you will observe a dense matrix, a fluid in it. Like inside the cell, we called it cytoplasm. So in case of nucleus, we will call it nucleoplasm. So nucleoplasm is the fluid inside the nucleus. And apart from this, there you will also observe another round body. It is actually a core of proteins. There are many proteins over here. This part is called nucleolus. Nucleus may have one nucleolus, may have two or three nucleoli. And apart from this, you will observe a network of thread-like structures. This network of thread-like structures is called chromatin network. Now, what is chromatin network? Chromatin network is actually the chromosomes which are wrapped around the proteins. So now chromosomes are our genetic material. In a normal cell, if the cell is in not a dividing condition, means when the cell is, if you see the cell under microscope and it is a cell which is not dividing, then you cannot see chromosomes in the nucleus. You will find network of structures, thread-like structures. We call them chromatin network. Now when this same cell will be ready to divide, so prior to division, these chromatin network, they will shorten, they will condense by losing water, they become condensed, and then they appear distinctly, means you can see them. So this is a network. There will be as many chromatin fibers as many chromosomes. And you know that chromosome number is fixed for each living species. For example, in case of human beings, we have 46 chromosomes in every cell of our body. So if there are 46 chromosomes, means in each nucleus there will be 46 chromatin fibers. So chromatin fibers are elongated. But when the cell will divide, these fibers will condense, will become short, and now they will be clearly visible as chromosomes. So these are the chromosomes. Now you can see here centrioles moving apart. We have read that in animal cell, centrioles take part during cell division. Okay. So this is some chromosome number of some of the organisms they have given. You can read from here. And chromosomes carry the genetic characters from the parents to the offsprings by the union of egg and female and sperm or male gamete. And chromosomes are made of chromatin, which is composed of hereditary units. Means chromatin will condense to form chromosome, or if I say, if you stretch chromosome, what you will get? Chromatin. And further, if you see what is chromatin made up of, you will find that we say chromatin are made up of segments of DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid, segments of DNA which we call as genes. So our genetic information is actually transferred from generation to generation by the genes. Genes are made of complex chemical substance we call DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Now here in this table they have given plant and animal cells, some structural and quantitative differences. You can read from here. And the typical differences, as I have explained already, animal cell has only membrane, plant cell will have wall around its cell wall. Plant cell will have large cell vacuole, they have very small vacuoles and fewer in number. Now we are left with one more important point, that is, if you observe this diagram, this is a bacterial cell. Now the primitive cells, primitive means the previous cells, the primitive cells such as bacteria and cyanobacteria, if we observe their cell, those cells did not have any cell organelles. And even the nuclear membrane is also absent. There is no distinct nucleus. Just you see this cell, this is the cell membrane surrounded by cell wall, and behind over the cell wall there is another mucin sheath, we call it capsule, and there is no nucleus, but nuclear genetic material is there. This genetic material, this one you can see, this is called bacterial chromosome. Means nuclear के अंदर जो होता है genetic material, that is present, but nucleus is not present, membrane is absent. Such cells are called prokaryotic. Prokaryotic. Karyotic. Karyo refers to nucleus and pro refers to primitive. Primitive cells which lack true nucleus. And you can also observe that there are no cell organelles, no mitochondria, no Golgi body, no endoplasmic reticulum. These primitive cells have only ribosomes and genetic material in the form of chromosome which lie naked in the cytoplasm. So such cells which lack true nucleus are called prokaryotic, and the cells which have proper nucleus with membrane, they are called eukaryotic. Eu means true nucleus. Karyo refers to nucleus. So here they have explained the term prokaryotic, that is early or primitive, refers to cells containing primitive nucleus as in bacteria, and eukaryotic means cells with perfectly formed nucleus just as in plants and animals. So you can be asked the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Now the last term in this chapter is protoplasm. See, in biology we use a term protoplasm. Protoplasm refers to the total living substance inside the cell. Now, if we say what is present inside the cell, now you know that cell contains cytoplasm, it contains cell organelles, and there might be some ions present. There might be some organic and inorganic substances present in the form of water, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, mineral salts. Together, we will call it protoplasm. Or in short, you can say protoplasm is nucleus plus cytoplasm. You can also say it is the living matter, the total substance of living cell, that is cytoplasm and the nucleus. So dear children, this chapter is finished here. And the last topic is every activity of a living organism is the outcome of cellular activity. This is a general information that like you grow, there is repair, there is movement in the body, there is feeding, circulation, respiratory exchange of gases, like we hear, we smell. Every activity of our cell, of our body is performed by the cells. So I suggest you to please read these, and if you have doubts, we will take up in Zoom classes. So thank you very much. May God bless you.